Hey there, tech fans. Rick here from the OREI team with an overview of the HD202, HD402, and HD602 HDMI Matrix switches. These products were designed to make it very simple for you to select from a group of HDMI media sources and send that media stream to two monitors simultaneously. And the best part is, because they're matrix switches, you can actually send the same input signal to both monitors simultaneously, or even select different input sources to send to the monitors individually. Now, as part of this overview, I'll do a quick unboxing to show you everything that comes with the kit. Then I'll take a closer look at each of the products and explain the buttons, connectors, and indicators so you understand how to hook it up once you get it home. I'll give you a list of the audio and video standards that these products can support. And then finally, I'll come back and actually install the HD202 right here on the bench to show you just how easy it is to use. Now, before I get into the unboxing, I want to explain the difference between them. The 202 has two inputs and two output ports. The 402, you have a choice of up to 4 input ports and 2 output ports. And the 602, which is the largest one, has 6 individual input ports and 2 output ports. So it gives you a much wider selection choice. Now, as far as the unboxing goes, they're pretty similar. When you open up the boxes, you'll find the switches themselves. That's the 202, that's the 402. Also included in the kit is a simple power supply. It's a standard power supply. You'll plug one end to the wall, the other end gets plugged into the back of the switch, and that's all the power you'll need. Also included is a remote control, because it's nice to be able to make these selections from a bit of a distance away from your media center, so you can sit in a comfortable chair or on your couch and select your input source. Both of the units come with complete instruction manuals that give you all the connection diagrams you'll need. They explain the media sources that the product will support, and a lot of other good information in there in case you have questions. Now, if you stay tuned, we'll get into the closer look portion of this so I can show you exactly what these look like close up. The HD202, HD402, and HD602 kits include a similar grouping of components. When you pop open the box, you'll find the matrix switch, whether it be a 202, 402, or 602, a power supply, a remote control, and a complete user manual. The power supplies are very similar between the kits and very simple to use. This end plugs into the wall. The other end has a barrel connection on it, which plugs into the back of the unit, and that's all the power you'll need to operate the product. The remote control is a convenient way to switch between inputs and outputs. It allows you to control both of the outputs and select what you want as a media device to be sent to those outputs. You can still select manually in the front, but it's nice to be able to do that from across the room from the comfort of your couch. The user manuals include a lot of good information about these units. There are diagrams inside to show you how to connect them. There are standards listed for media for both audio and video, feature sets. Everything you need to know is pretty much inside the manual. We do recommend you read these before starting to connect them up to answer any questions you may have about the products. Now we'll take a closer look at the two units, and I'll start with the 202. The unit itself is made in a fully metal enclosure, and that's intentional to eliminate a lot of the outside interference from degrading the audio and video signals that are passing through the product. On the sides, you'll notice mounting brackets. There are holes there where you can put mounting brackets on it and mount it to a wall if you like. On the front of the unit, there's a switch on the left that'll turn it on and off. Once you make power connections to the back and you hit that switch, the power indicator will come on, letting you know you have adequate power to run the unit. That's the infrared receiver, so when you're using the remote control, this is what picks up the signals from that remote control. To the right of that, you'll see two output selection sections, if you will. First output, you can push this button and select what's being sent to that first monitor, either your first HDMI media source or your second. Same over here for your second monitor. So that's your first monitor, your second monitor. On the right is the EDID switch. That allows you to adjust synchronization between the audio and video for all of your inputs and outputs. On the back of the unit, that's where your HDMI connections are made. So this is output connections and input connections. On the output connections, you've got out 1 and out 2. Out 1 would go to one monitor, out 2 would go to the other monitor. Same thing with your inputs. This would be your first HDMI media source, could be a cable box or a game console. That would be your second media source, and that's your power supply connection. Now, because this is a switch matrix, I can send this input to both output monitors, or I can send different inputs to each of the monitors, and that really is an advantage to the product. Now let's take a look at the 402, which is a little bit more complicated. It's the same type of connection. The big difference between it is you'll notice immediately that I still have two outputs on the back, but I have a selection of 4 inputs. So it allows you to expand it from the original 2 inputs on the 202 to 4 inputs. And if you go for the 602 product, there are 2 more inputs even still. So you can have up to, on this particular product, up to 4 different HDMI media sources that can each individually be switched to either one of the output sources. Power supply connection over here, venting on the side, brackets on the side. On the front of the unit, on and off switch, again, power indication when you've got good power to the unit, infrared receiver, and then your output for A and output for B are here, and I can step through those manually or use the remote control. And on the right is the EDID switch. Again, very simple unit to connect up, but very, very powerful. The OREI HD202, 402, and 602 products support media content with resolutions up to 4K at 30 Hz. All three are 3D video compatible and feature a remote control input selection and support audio standards including 2.1, 5.1, or 7.1 channel audio, with additional standards of supporting LPCM, Dolby AC3, DTS 7.1, DSD, Dolby True HD, and DTS HD Master Audio. They also support a wide range of media products, including streaming devices like Roku, cable boxes, game consoles, home surveillance systems, and PCs. Now I'll show you the connections you'll need to make to get the HD series of matrix switches working with your own gear at home. Now for this demonstration I have the HD202 in front of me, but the HD402 and 602 have the exact same type of connections. The only difference is the 402 gives you 4 inputs and the 602 gives you 6 inputs. But other than that, the connections are essentially the same. Now for this demonstration, I have 2 monitors set up and I have 2 media sources, a media player on the table and a Roku player on the floor. I'll make the connections, apply power, and show you just how versatile this product is. So let's get started. First, I'll connect up the media sources. Here's the media player. I'll connect that up to HDMI input number 1, then the Roku player to HDMI input number 2. Now I'll connect the monitors. I'll make the bottom monitor HDMI output number 1, and the top monitor HDMI output number 2. Now once I make these connections, I'll apply power. You'll notice I haven't done that yet. I always like to make the connections before I power up the unit because it does go through a little bit of a power on self-test to make sure the HDMI sources are valid, the monitors are connected correctly, and everything is working fine. So now that they're connected, I'll apply power. It'll take a couple of seconds for the unit to do that self-test. So let me turn it on. See, the power light came on right there. The unit's thinking at this point, it's checking the HDMI input sources, checking the monitors, and once it verifies that they're good connections, it'll come on. Now currently what I've got is both monitors set to input number 1, which is the media player. And you can see that both monitors have the same display. Now let me change output number 1 to the second input source. It went blank for a second. Again, this has to make a readjustment to check that media source and make sure that it's connected correctly, and then it came back on. Let me do the same now with media output number 2. Again, it'll blank out for a second because it's talking to the same media player. Both of those will blink back on with the same source in a second. There you go. Then I can switch the first one back to input number 1 if I want. So the advantage to this product is that unlike conventional switches, which force you to use the same input for both of the monitors or group of monitors you're distributing the signal to, this one, because it's a matrix, allows you to send different signals to different monitors or the same input to all your monitors at the same time. It's a great little product to use and very simple to connect. We hope you found this overview of the HD series of matrix switches helpful. They were designed to provide a very easy way to allow you to select one media source and send it to a specified monitor. There are 3 different models in the product line: the HD202, 2 input, 2 output, HD402, 4 input, 2 output, and HD602, 6 input and 2 output. We really appreciate the support you've shown the entire OREI product line, and until next time, thanks for watching.